Hi there, it's Gloria with Glory Bee Resale, and I am here to do a What Sold video from November 3rd to the 9th, 2024. And the first thing to sell, this would be selling on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Etsy. And the first thing to sell was this Ralph Lauren pink cable knit low neck top knit top, and this sold for. I took an offer at $12. Somebody sent me an offer at 12. I haven't had many looks from what I could see on this, so I took the $12. I only paid $2, and I just wanted to move it along because I didn't think it was going to do that well. It made it through the spring and summer, and didn't sell, so um, off it's gone. Next item to sell here on eBay was this "Don't Follow Me, Follow the Lord" t-shirt. That's the back of it. And I've had this a while. I want to say I bought this a couple years ago. And I think at the time I was testing out religious things, and I thought this one was kind of cool because it was on the back. So if you're walking down the street, anybody behind you would see it. And this one I put up for 49, but it never sold. And somebody sent me an offer of $25, and I took it. Cost to me on it was $2.99. Next item to sell was this Massimo Dutti Napa leather skirt with a belt, and this was new with tags. And this sold for, I sent an offer out for $140.25, and it sold for that. And the cost to me on it was $9.99. Next item to sell was this vintage. On this one, it might have been. I'm back to the Massimo Dutti leather skirt. I'm thinking I said $9.99. I'm thinking this may have been $20. I'm gonna give it a quick look up. Dutti. There it is. Oh, I have it. I have $9.99 there. I still think that it was probably $19.99 because the leather items that I had picked up were more money. So I'm gonna say that it was probably $19.99 for the leather skirt. Next item to sell was this vintage Hayband Casual Joe long sleeve sweatshirt, collared shirt. This was like a sweatshirt material. Looks very 1970s. And this sold for $22. Cost to me on it was $6.49. Again, I was all right with taking offers for a couple of days because I think it was just slow. The next item was this Dakin Lou Rankin stuffed plush, and this beaver sold for $24, and the cost to me on it was $5. I picked it up. I was curious to see how it would do because it was a Lou Rankin, and I'm pretty sure that his I think it's him. He has cement animals that go for a good amount of money. I've had one before that I picked up at auction, and I want to say sold for a few hundred. So I picked up the stuffed animals. Those don't sell as much. But just, I'm going to do a quick look up on the Blue Rankin concrete. Yeah, it is these. As you can see, they go for some good money. $2.99. And this one, they're doing it at an auction, but I'm going to say it's probably still worth a few $100s. I didn't know at the time I was at the auction. I only bought one. They had a whole bunch. I want to say they had this cat there. But I sold it. I sold whatever it was I had. I think it was a dog for about $350, something like that. So, you ever see these somewhere? Blue Rankin cement animals. They are good. Plushed animals? No. Cement ones? Yes. Anyway, and this one is cheap. I'm going to guess this is probably a resin one. Still not as good. It's the concrete ones, the outdoor concrete ones that you want. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. Next item to sell was this little wood vintage Santa shelf sitter. His legs kind of go up and down, they dangled. And this sold for $22. Cost me on it was $1. Next item to sell was this new vintage tulip flower lights. And these sold for $20. Cost to me on them was $1. This says there's still one left, and there is not. I sold the last one. So I'll have to fix that. While I think of it, because I do not want to be overselling. Oh, it's not showing here. Anyway, I thought I fixed it in the thing. Maybe I did. So anyway, let's move on. Next item to sell was this vintage brown carved wood shelf. And this I picked up at the local antique mall. I don't think it was all that old, but there's a girl that I like her taste. And she only charged $5 for this. So I picked it up and I quickly flipped it for $35. So that was good. Next item was this women's distress soft suede leather belt. And this sold for $25. And the cost to me on it was $2.99. Next item to sell was this vintage white with yellow flowers Korean cardigan sweater, embroidered, and this sold for $24. And the cost to me on it was $5.99. I bought two of these that day, and I think they're so pretty for a vintage item, and they're in they were in very good condition. But this I've had them a while, and this one finally sold for $24. So I was happy to take it. I forget the other one. I think has a little more color than just the yellow. But Anyway, and now over to Poshmark. What sold over there was this Nick and Zoe black rain jacket, size extra large, and this sold for $25. I just sent an offer. I wanted to get rid of it. I had picked this up for myself and then decided I would not wear it. So um, I just wanted to get rid of it again. And so $25 paid $5.99. Next item to sell was this 10-inch stained glass holly wreath. And this sold for $32. And the cost to me on it was $1. Next item to sell was this Victoria's Secret two-piece snowflake pajama set. And these sold for $19. And the cost to me on them was $5.99. So not a great turnaround. But I also wanted to get rid of them. I am trying not to. I'm trying to get out of clothes. I just don't want to do them anymore. So anyway, I was happy to take it and get rid of it. And Victoria's Secret on these just didn't seem like it was all that special. Now over to Mercari, and the first thing to sell on Mercari was this Ink International Concepts boho cropped sweater, and this sold for $18.70, and the cost to me on it was $3.50. Next item to sell was this vintage hand-turned wood bowl with the lid, and this one sold for $17.60. Cost to me on it was $2.99. And now over to Etsy, and the first thing to sell on Etsy was this Santa Claus holding two puppies and a puppy at his feet, and he sold for $16. Cost to me on him was $3. Well, less. I'm not sure if he was cheaper, but I'm gonna say $3 just in case. And he sold for $16. And this person also bought the next ornament too, which I bought at the same place. I bought a whole bunch of ornaments. This one was a vintage Russian hand painted carved old world Santa, and this one sold for $29, and the cost to me on it was $1. The next thing to sell was this frog ornament. I've had him forever. He was Department 56. And I had the box for it, but he wasn't new. And this sold for $25 finally, and the cost to me on it was $1. Next item to sell was this vintage wrought iron cording candle, and this sold for $25, and the cost to me on this was 50 cents. I never knew what one of these were, and I thought it was a pretty cool concept that you could put the candle up or down and decide how long the quarter your daughter was dating could stay. And if you liked him, you gave him more time. If you didn't, you put the candle down and it burnt out to here. He had to go home. Never heard of one, but I thought it was kind of fun. Next item. This was a great find at a yard sale. I kept looking at it because I thought it looked cool, but I just didn't know why it was just a snowman's head. A very large snowman's head. Uh, but it sits on top of a Christmas tree. So, and it's pretty big. It's pretty substantial. And you put it on top of the Christmas tree, and then the tree is his body. And this one I got $165 for. I was so happy when I looked that up because it was going to just go in my booth. But then when I saw how much they sold for, it went online. I had picked it up for $3. So that was a cool pickup. Next item was this vintage hand carved wood scoop ceremonial spoon, and this sold for $54, and the cost to me on it was $5. Next item to sell was this vintage metal faux hospice candle holders, and these were wall sconces. So I don't know if you can really see it there, but in this picture you can see they each hold a candle. And these sold for $40. Cost me on them was $5. And the last thing to sell was this vintage Mopar Scat Pack metal toolbox. Um, Red from the 1960s or 70s. And this was in pretty decent condition. It was older, but it was still decent for its age. There was dirt in there, but anyway, I gave pictures of everything that they could look it over. $75. Cost to me on it was $8. And I haven't said it yet, but if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, I'd really appreciate it. It helps out. Makes it worthwhile doing them when I know there's people watching. Anyway, that is everything that I sold for the week of November 3rd to the 9th. And now I have to get on to next week's. I mean, to the next week after the 9th, the 10th to the 17th, I think. So anyway, again, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. I hope that your sales are fantastic. Bye.